Hello, Team video. Today we're going to take a look at the Open Ultra League. We're going to have the Ultra League and the Ultra League Premier Cup coming up for the next cycle, which is going to start on Thursday. So this is going to be an interesting one here as well. Again, we have forced basically to play Ultra League. The differences between those metas wasn't really that huge prior, but since this season it's a little bit more bigger because there are more legendaries currently available that are really good than compared to last season, because now we have the buff for Cobalion and the Virizion. We're going to have Registeel back in raid soon, which is going to boost the popularity of this Pokemon as well. And in general, a lot of legendary Pokemon here available that are all going to not be existing for the Ultra League Premier Cup, which I'm going to make a video later on Thursday. But otherwise, we're going to see here the standard Pokemon again. Again, Registeel going to be more common. Shadow Registeel now at rank 8. Cobalion still, in my opinion, the best Pokemon currently, maybe. Most like Giratina is a little bit better still, but Cobalion, one of the top Pokemon that I would recommend you to use, especially with Stone Edge, being able to bait out potential Talonflame or Charizard and still hitting them for double super effective damage is amazing. Gliscor a little bit overrated in my opinion, just because of the potential of boosting and baiting here. That's why it's gonna highly rank there. Still a very good Pokemon to use for sure. Swampert still very strong. Virizion very strong. Guzzled a little bit too overrated as well. I feel like Obstagoon going to have a big impact in this kind of meta right now, so like maybe try to look for an Obstagoon team as well. Didn't really have one in those here right now, but I might going to showcase some later. Tapu Fini, in my opinion, one of the underrated Pokemon for the Ultra League, as well as Aurora is going to be also very strong. Here you see also the Shadow Alone Ninetales. If you already have the XL Candies and a good version for this Pokemon, maybe try to power it up or powder snow. But yeah, that's going to be it for this so far. Let's go right into the teams, and also leave a like on the video already if you're here right now. For the first team here, we're going to have basically an OG team that already was in my first video about the top teams for Ultra League around, I think, 2 months ago now, nearly. We're going to have the Pidgeot on the lead there, we're going to have the Sasop of the Cobalion, and then you can either use the Registeel if you have it, or the Virizion in the back. It's just a team that works out pretty well. It's also pretty predictable, so like, don't expect that anybody knows about it. Definitely people going to know about it, people going to build teams around this as well, because it's a very common team now. And it's a very smart team as well. Does make a lot of sense. If you look how good Pidgeot is in the Open Ultra League, you kind of want to build one, you kind of want to have one, and you kind of want to be prepared against it, as it also beats something like Giratina a lot. So yeah, this Pokemon is very strong, this team is very strong, and let's go right into the next one. The next team here going to be just thrown together the top 3 Pokemon currently in the Ultra League, which is going to be the Giratina Origin, not Origin, Altered of course. Origin is also kind of funny, kind of want to showcase it, but Giratina Altered here, we're going to have the Cobalion as a Sasop here. Again, we're going to have also the Cresselia in the back. Basically, your lead going to be able to destroy hopefully fire types. You're going to hopefully get them out of the way with your Cobalion as a Sasop, and then you're going to have the Cresselia in the back that can clean up. You also have 2 pretty decent answers against steel types, which kind of Cresselia struggles with, so that should be pretty fine. But in general, those are just the top Pokemon that you will face in this meta, and you have to be prepared for them as well. This is going to be something that you're going to face a lot of times if you want to run this cup. Again, we're going to have the option for the Ultra League Premier version of it, not Premier Classic, so XL Pokemon will be everywhere as well still. But for the Premier version, I'm going to take a look at this at a later point on my channel, so subscribe if you haven't already, and we're going to go directly into the next team. Aurorus is an interesting Pokemon as well to play in this current meta here, but it's a little bit tricky to play because it's of course double weak to counter or in general fighting type Pokemon, and we have Virizion as well as Cobalion available right now. And we kind of try to get out at least the Cobalion with our Registeel as a Sasop here. It's of course a little bit tricky to get this Pokemon as well. You could also use Double, which is also tricky to get this Pokemon, but this cup in general won't be really easy to achieve for a lot of people anyway. Also, the next one will be a little bit tricky, but yeah, we're going to have the Giratina in the lead again. Very good anti-fighter. You can also use something else like Charizard, for example, in the lead if you have that one, because that would make you a little bit better against Obstagoon. Obstagoon can still be an issue, while the Registeel usually beats Obstagoon though, so it should be fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit tricky with this current meta. It's a little bit difficult to get all the Pokemon, but let's go right into the next team. The next team here going to be around Regirock, a Pokemon that I really think going to be impactful for the upcoming meta there, because this Pokemon is really good right now. This Pokemon gets to Stone Edge super fast, has access to a Focus Blast to also destroy something like a Registeel. It's a little bit more tech weighted, it doesn't have the crazy bulk like Registeel, but it's still very bulky, and it's very good in the current meta in general just to knock out all those flying type Pokemon. You're going to face a lot of time Pidgeot in the lead. This Pokemon completely destroys Pidgeot. And this team in general is here based around the first team that I showcased to beat that one particularly there, because you're going to have either 2 ghost types or like also Cresselia as a say swap there. Those Pokemon will be able to beat the Cobalion plus Verzian or a Registeel in the back. So this team is basically a hard wall to the first team that I showcased, and that's also one of the main benefits of it. And in general, Regirock is very, very good in the current meta, definitely underrated. And you definitely should try to build one. It's also a little bit cheaper than, for example, the Registeel, as you don't need XL Candy for this one here. The next team going to be the first Legend team of this season. A player which I also showcased before hit Legend with this as the first person in the world this season. So like it's definitely still a very good team to use here as well. And it's a no XL team, which is kind of interesting and pretty cheap team to get. Yes, there's a legendary in there. You won't have really cheap teams in general in this league. There are not a lot of Pokemon that you can really run without any legacy moves, or like at least a higher expensive charge move to unlock in this meta. Like I think the only Pokemon where you don't really need a special move that needs 10k to unlock a charge move and isn't XL all the time would be Obstagoon, which is kind of wild as well. So like yeah, there is not a lot of cheap Pokemon available in this cup directly, but this team in general worked really well for this person, got Legend to it. I played with this team as well, worked out really well for me, so I can recommend it to you as well. A little bit weak against Registeel, but maybe it's not as common still, I don't know. But yeah, let's go into the next team. The next team here going to be kind of one of the reverse teams from the first one there, which we have now here with the Tapu Fini in the lead. This Pokemon in my opinion is so underrated, my favorite Pokemon to use in this cup. I don't even have good IVs with it, and still it's very, very strong. This thing just hits so hard after a while with the water gun damage. We're going to have the Sasop here of the Cobalion again, then we're going to have the Pidgeot on the back there. Usually you kind of want to play out the first matchup, I feel like, with the Tapu Fini, unless you get hard-walled. A little bit tricky to play with this team would be Trevenant lead, definitely. You have to swap out there, and it's still not really a good matchup. But everything else is kind of nice with this team. At least I liked it. I think I played this team as well myself before, and it was really nice, so definitely can recommend it to you. Next up, we're going to have one of my favorite teams as well here with Verzian in the lead. Verzian going to be able to beat most of the Pokemon that you don't want to face with your Auroras in the bag. And now you need a Stay Swap that can potentially bite out a Swampert while still doing damage, because they really don't want to have your Swampert aligned against the Auroras there. So kinda want to have something that's weak to water in my opinion there, which is going to be the Gliscor or the Charizard. Both of them are really, really fine here. And you hopefully can sweep endgame with the Auroras. Also, both Stay Swaps here have options to beat other Steel types, which you also don't want to face with the Auroras. So, yeah, that's definitely a team that really supports Auroras well here, but also, yeah, it's a little bit tricky to build teams that don't include like Giratina or anything like this in the Ultra League. So let's go into the final one. The final team going to be also a very lame one again. Like, there's sadly not a lot that I can do in this league. There's not a lot that I can really say that would be, oh, this is a good team to use, because it's really just the meta stuff that you can see here. Warrior in the lead, 2 Pokemon in the back that can deal with fighting type Pokemon, very simple stuff. Also destroys the first team that we had, for example, there with the Pidgeot Double Fighter. This is a very good Ants team for that one. Again, there's not a lot that I can really say about this cup, which makes it better. It's pretty lame most likely. I'm going to try to spice some stuff up on my channel as well, but those are most likely the top teams. I'm going to see you for a Registeel showcase hopefully later, as long as I can get it at night. But yeah, we will see about that. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.